Alright, Torque. This is a movie that's definitely influenced by the Fast and the Furious series, except it's with more motorcycles. I think that's the brief summary most people use to describe this movie. There's a little more going on to it than that makes it much, much worse. But in general, that's what you're dealing with. This is a hyper realistic, like, super reality of motorcycle movies and racing and whatever. This is a very dumb movie. And there's not a whole lot to say about it. The biggest thing I think is bad in this, like, the acting's what you would expect. There's no great acting going on here. It's all, sort of machismo action-y, whatnot. The thing that really stands out are some of the effects, are just, what are you even doing? When this movie opens, it opens with our lead character, somebody, I don't remember who cares, racing his motorcycle against some people driving cars. And he goes so fast that he makes the street sign spin, like out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. And the minute that happened, and that they used, like, Looney Tunes sound effects, I knew this was going to be total crap. Yeah, so there's a couple moments like that, like, what are you doing? So whenever it gets to, like, super chase scenes, like, some of the stunts are pretty good, like, just practical stunt work. But then it'll go into weird CG, excessive effect stunt work. Like, the biggest things I think are at the beginning with that street sign, and then at the end with the climax fight scene. You can't even tell what the hell's happening. I had to rewatch it 3 times to figure out what the hell happened. Because there's constant cutting and everything's blurry and there's fire and weird effects and it's just horrid. And, I mean, it's hard to describe without actually, like, seeing it, how bad it is. But I couldn't figure out because it's the climax of the movie and, like, immediately after that, movie's over. I didn't realize the bad guy was killed. I couldn't tell. I could not tell in the scene that the bad guy had died. It's just there's a bunch of flashing, there's woo 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 woo, and that's how it rolls. So that was one of the stupidest action sequences I've ever seen. But the plot, this guy stole bikes / drugs from bad people. Bad people angry. He ran away and then came back for reasons. And he comes back, finds his old friends, the friend characters with no depth at all. Finds his girlfriend who also has almost no depth. And then they are their happy biker family again. He's framed for murder of some other biker gang dude, Ice Cube in this case. His little brother, who's kind of a dick, gets killed. He's framed for it, so then he has 2 different biker gangy people after him. And then there's a special agent after him for reasons, who is played by Adam Scott, who is hilariously bad in this movie. That really is the best thing. Adam Scott's performance in this movie as, like, the evil FBI whatever guy is hilarious. I'm surprised he had a career after this movie. It's that bad. Everybody else is just, bikers, angry, badass. And it gets really tiring. So the plot eventually resolves after much chasing and running and dramatic-ish action scenes. I'm trying to remember this. There is a couple of truck chases. There's a train chase where he drives his motorcycle on top of a train and jumps off the back. And I want to say that there was a bus at some point where he drives his motorcycle through the middle of a bus between the seats that looks so stupid. There's a lot of moments where I was like, this is just stupid, man. Let's do some good motorcycle practical stunt effects, and then let's just leave it at that and stop being dumb with this. But no, there's a lot of that. There's lots of pretty motorcycles. That's what you expect. And boy, are there some explosions. Everything explodes. At one point, in that final fight sequence that I mentioned, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, the bad guy shoots his bike in such a way that gas leaks, and then there's a spark, and then it catches on fire, and they are outracing the fire, catching up to his bike, and just are going in super speeds, and they're totally rad super speed mode, and it's really There's a lot of dumb in this movie. Yeah, so do I recommend this movie? Maybe. If you're in the mood to watch a really, really dumb action movie with motorbikes, then this is that movie. Ice Cube pretty much does the same performance he does in every movie, where he's just angry and scowls. Adam Scott is hilarious. I don't remember any of the other actors in this. I hope they don't really have careers anymore. They were all really one-dimensional and uninteresting. The writing is just really super bad. Yeah, it's mostly the action scenes range from, okay, that's a pretty good stunt, to why are you doing this CG, or why are you doing this at all? This doesn't make sense. You're being ridiculous. The plot actually could have been half interesting, but they do a bunch of dumb things with it that I don't like. So whatever, I guess. This film's not in the bottom 100 anymore, because really the production values on this are pretty good. This struck me as like a Hollywood movie with money behind it that just was kind of flubbed. I mean, it is what it intended to be, but also is sort of self-parodied. And this is where there's a lot of debate around this movie, is whether it was intended to be taken seriously or as a parody of the genre. And I don't think there's a few little nods here and there that this is ridiculous. But it is not. This is an honest movie. They were trying to make a badass bike movie and realized it was too over the top and then tried to add things in. Yeah, it's not good, but again, production values are high enough. There's no huge editing mistakes. It's mostly they just went overboard with the effects, and it just came out a mess. So I'm not surprised it's not in the bottom 100 anymore, but it's still definitely not a good movie. But I think it ranges, depending on who you ask, whether it is a good bad movie or just a bad movie. There's some, I guess, laughs to be had in here. Not really. I mean, the problem is they are sort of winking at the camera here and there, and then that just sort of kills it for me. I've talked before about earnestness being an important part of a bad movie. If they had just played it straight and not had those few little moments where they nodded at the camera, then it would have been fine. It would have been bad, or a good bad movie because of its over-the-topness, just the way like a Nick Cage movie might, just without any kind of acting. But because they do it a little bit, brings in the question, and then you're like, well, they synthesized it to be sort of a good bad watch, and then it ruins the whole effect. I'm not a big fan of it at that point. I don't think I'll watch it again, but yeah, I've seen some other reviews of this thing, and people do seem to disagree pretty wildly on it. Yeah, I don't really know what else there is to say about it. This feels more like just a bad, mediocre movie than anything else. Yeah, again, all the things that are supposed to be invisible, like things like sound editing and that kind of stuff, that's all fine. There's no glaring flaws there. It really is just somebody went overboard with money to do all these effects they didn't need. They had they went overboard. Like when you use too many effects in Photoshop or something. Yeah, so I don't know if I don't think I can recommend it unless you're again into this kind of explosion-y movie. So that's Torque for you.
Everyone ever tell you that every time you're around, everything just goes to hell?
That's a talent I have.
It's a place where everything moves so fast. If you slow down, you're gone.
Ford seen some street punk. Turned up dead.
Now, they need someone to take the fall.
Reapers think you did it.
And I want his head in Dojo's bowl by midnight.
Hell, everybody thinks you did it.
But just because they set him up,
Innocent men don't run.
Catch him, kill him, and bury him.
Walk away. Was that a threat?
I think it was.
doesn't mean they can take him down.
No, I can smash you right now.
You ain't gonna like how this ends.